What is up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of VR 365 Live. Right now, it is saying that my stream status is bad. So I don't know if it's a bit choppy, if the audio is messed up or my video is messed up or anything like that. But I am coming in real hot. And you know, one thing I do need to talk about, folks, is let's talk for a second about back to school. Let's talk about back to school, because I've been driving to work for a while now. And why is it that all of a sudden on this week, traffic is ridiculous? Like, especially coming home. Like, this is normally I decided, okay, back up. I decided to make this show start at 5 p.m. because I was typically getting home at like 3:40, and I figure, okay, I get home at 3:40. I've got enough time to like come make a little cup of coffee, my afternoon coffee, kind of organize some stories, get some things together, and then I'm ready to go for 5 o'clock, right? I'm getting home at 3:40 p.m. I can do a show at 5 o'clock. Well, I got to tell you guys, this week, I've just been barely getting back. Like I've barely been here in time to actually do the show. And so I'm starting to think to myself, should I move the show time from 5 p.m.? Should I move it to 5:30? But then I'm like, nah. Don't do that, bro. Don't do that, because this is like the first week, man. It's the same thing every time. Okay, so Labor Day has happened, right? Labor Day happened on Monday. Tuesday, everybody is back. Scion VR is like, no, not back to school talk. Hell yeah, buddy. Back to school, baby. You got your notebooks? Did you go to Target? Did you get your brand new t-shirts and your binders and your backpacks? Okay, so here's the thing that I've noticed is that after Labor Day, like every school is in session. So there might have been some schools that were going on prior to Labor Day, but when it's the Tuesday after Labor Day, that is like return to reality. Okay, so the Tuesday after Labor Day, officially return to reality day. It is like, welcome back to reality, everybody. Now it is, summer is over. Summer is over. It is back to reality. Get your ass to work. Get your ass to school. And then what happens is, the thing that has me scratching my head is like, okay, well, I remember months ago when school was in session before summer kicked off. Like, I remember back to May, and I was driving home in May, and I don't remember there being freaking traffic jams like this in May, and school was in session in May. So what is the difference, folks? I'll tell you what the difference is. When people first get back to school, all the mommies and the daddies and all that, right? They're like, oh, I'm going to pick up my son from school. I'm going to drop him off right in front, and I'm going to pick him up right in front. And you know what happens, folks? That lasts for about a week or two. And then little Johnny has to walk his own ass home, because basically there's this excitement, there's this enthusiasm. The school year has started. Yeah, I'm going to pick up Johnny right in front of school, and I'm going to take Johnny home. But you know what? After a couple weeks, the parents are like, F that noise. Johnny, catch the bus. Get a ride with somebody, or just walk your ass home. And so I'm not going to move the time of the show yet, because I figure in a couple of weeks, a return to normalcy, people. A return to normalcy. That's what I believe is going to happen. Okay, so the other thing I wanted to mention too at the start of our show today is Shizz show is in full and total effect today, because I really don't have any stories prepared other than the fact that Space Junkies, okay, so Space Junkies is still alive, but there is some news with Space Junkies. There's actually news with Ubisoft in general. We'll get to that in a minute. But you know what I am going to do? And VR Spry Guy says, I still don't understand why they can't ride the bus. Oh, they're going to be riding the bus. In about 2 weeks, they are going to be riding the bus. But it's kind of like New Year's resolutions, you know, when it's New Year's, everybody has these grand ideas. Oh, I'm going to go to the gym every single day, and I'm going to eat freaking egg whites every single morning. Everybody has all these grand ideas. And so when it's back to school, people have grand ideas. Oh, I'm going to pick up my kid every day. You know, I'm going to drop him off and pick him up every day. And so there's so many more cars on the road. And then what happens is, you know, it all falls apart and it returns to normalcy. So I'm not worried about it. Okay, what was I going to do now? So what I thought we could do now is I quickly bounced around the subreddits, and there were a lot of little shits and giggles types of stuff that was going on in the various subreddits. And I thought, you know what? Shits and giggles time. So this is basically the shits and giggles episode. So let's go to the subreddits, folks. Let's go to the subreddits and let's see what's going on. So anyways, I got to get this up and running over here. Okay, let's start off with the PlayStation VR subreddit, which, let's be honest, folks, PlayStation VR, we were talking about, this was on Twitch yesterday, and those of you that miss our Twitch episodes, you missed out on a long discussion about red-haired stepchildren. Is it acceptable? Can you say red-headed stepchild? Is that acceptable in the year 2019? And then I also mentioned that I just watched this, video where this guy was given a speech, and the speech was in 2017, and he said the word retarded about 7 times in his speech like it was no big deal whatsoever. And I was under the assumption that you're not allowed to say that anymore, because I have a nasty habit of wanting to say that word, not in relation to anybody with Down syndrome. For me, it has absolutely no, when I say that R word, I am not talking about people with Down syndrome at all. That's the last thing on my mind when I say that R word, but I know it's very offensive to a lot of people. So I've tried to stop saying it, but I just watched a speech the other day where dude was dropping the R word like it was going out of style. And maybe it was going on out of style. Maybe that's why he did it, because it was a 2017 speech. But see, the thing is, if you guys don't watch the Twitch episodes, you miss out on incredibly exciting discussions about redheaded stepchildren and the R word. How tragic is that you're missing out on that if you don't bounce over to Twitch? Also, one thing. It reminds me, actually, let's thank our sponsor for today's show. So I'm actually remembering to let's thank the sponsor of our show. Today's episode would not have been possible, ladies and gentlemen, without the support of our sponsor. And you know what? I'm going back to the old schools, okay? I'm going back to the old schools, and I'm thinking about some sponsors that were around back in the old days, guys. And Liam Siddiq, a Patreon supporter extraordinaire. You guys might remember over the last couple of days on Twitch and on YouTube, I was thanking Gary R. Haylock, one of our absolutely first Patreon subscribers ever. Jay Benson was, I believe, the absolutely first one that we ever had. But Gary Haylock was within the first couple of 3. And Liam Siddiq, very early on, man. Liam Siddiq, very early on Patreon supporter. He's been a Patreon supporter for 7 months now, which is impressive, because I've had Patreon supporters that have jumped on the bandwagon and then they jump the F off, and that's fine. That's absolutely perfectly fine. I have no problems with that whatsoever. But Liam Siddiq has been down by law. He's been there for 7 solid months. Very impressive. So thank you so much for your support, Liam Siddiq. Really appreciate it. Absolutely appreciate it. Okay, so now let me go ahead and get that off of the screen, but thank you very much. Especially, I really do have major appreciation, especially when somebody has been around for that many months. That's pretty incredible. Okay, so I'll just put a rando trailer on real quick here, but let's go to the subreddits, because there's some funny little things that I've seen on some of these subreddits, so let's go ahead and check this out. So we're bouncing over to the Webinal, and here we are on PlayStation VR. PlayStation VR. And let's go ahead and check this one. This is the top upvoted thing right about now. LOL. What does it mean? Okay, so here's somebody's t-shirt. All I care about is virtual reality and like maybe 3 people. I like it. I like it. Whose shirt is this? You know, MRTV has like completely and utterly true is the first response there. Yeah, so this guy says, all I care about is virtual reality and like maybe 3 people. Pretty good, pretty good. Because I'm thinking of MRTV. MRTV has like a special shirt that I don't know if he trademarked it or whatever, but it's like, I left virtual reality to be here with you dumbasses, or some, you know, some kind of shirt that is kind of like that, right? And this one is all I care about is virtual reality and like maybe 3 people. Kind of like it. Kind of like it. Pretty good. So, you know, they're laughing about this over here on the PlayStation VR subreddit. Another thing I've been seeing, and yeah, somebody sent me a message, and so that thing's going to keep popping up. Okay, Beat Staff. Let's check this out. So one thing I've noticed is I've been seeing these little GIFs and stuff where people are playing Beat Saber, and it's basically like, look, like this shit is kind of crazy. Like, is this real? Is this really happening? Like, you can do this with Beat Saber? Like, how are these people doing it? It seems like they're just basically just twirling it around. Like, is there a method to the madness here? Is there actual skill that's being used? Or is it basically like you're just mopping up the Beat Saber boxes that are coming at you? Like, is this actual legitimate skill? Like, is this somebody just doing next level Jedi master type shit? Or can you just basically flap that thing around and just hit any box and it's all good? Because basically your local gymnast, you know, the baton twirlers of America are going to be the masters of Beat Saber. Who could have predicted that? So anyway, I did see that. I thought that was kind of funny. I don't know what this is, but we're going to go ahead and get off of it now. But yeah, so we're just looking at some miscellaneous type stuff that is popping off on the subreddits. We'll check this out really quick. Oh, this one is really good, guys. Okay, check this picture out. So I'm going to click on this. Look at this, dude. A PlayStation VR at Goodwill. At Goodwill. Okay, those of you that might be in the UK or other countries out there, Australia, Hawaii, a completely different country, different language and everything. No, but here in mainland America, we have this thing called Goodwill, okay? And Goodwill is a thrift store. And you know what's amazing? I was just talking to my wife about this actually the other day. Goodwill, absolute geniuses. Absolute geniuses. This is like a side bonus rant that you're about to get here about Goodwill. Okay, absolute geniuses from the standpoint that if you're here in the good old US of A, especially here in California, we've got all these little neighborhoods all over. You know, they make the same freaking neighborhoods everywhere, right? It's the same neighborhoods, McMansions and all that kind of stuff. Everybody's got their Teslas. There's a freaking Starbucks and a Subway on every corner and a Wingstop, you know, and an L&L Hawaiian barbecue. They're on every corner, bro. You know, and we have these neighborhoods, right? And it's all across America. It's the dumbing down of America. But what Goodwill did is they're like, you know what? Americans are so effing lazy. These people are so ridiculously lazy. We've got a genius idea. And here's the genius idea. Let's have a Goodwill drop-off location at every little mini mall everywhere. So I'm not even joking. In the neighborhood where I live, there's literally 3 different Goodwill drop-off locations. And it's designed all around the idea of laziness, just absolute, utter laziness. So Americans are so lazy, people. They really are, because what Americans do is, like, we have all this junk, and we should sell it. Like, we should sell it on a eBay or something. We should eBay it. Or we should try to sell it on Craigslist. Or we should try to give it to somebody that could use it. Or maybe we should have a garage sale. But you know what? All of those things require effort. And Americans do not want to expend effort. That is something that we've discovered recently, right? Americans don't like to burn calories. They don't like to expend energy. And so Goodwill, genius of them, they've created these drop-off locations. So basically there's a Goodwill drop-off location within blocks of your house. And so everybody and their mom, like if you got any kind of junk that is just taking up space and you're just like, see, here in America, we're kind of the disposal, everything's disposable. You know, we buy a new Keurig and 3 months later, get that shit out of here, get a brand new one. There's a slight problem with the Keurig. So buy a brand new Keurig, even though you got it 3 months ago. Send that baby to the landfill. Okay, no, send it to Goodwill. And so anyway, this is an image of Goodwill. This is like a drop-off location. And PlayStation VR, how sad is that? Like, this should be a picture from like 2030. This should not be a picture from the year 2019. Like in 2030, yeah, you might see a PlayStation VR headset up there. What is a PlayStation VR headset doing at a Goodwill anyway? That is tragic. A PlayStation VR at Goodwill, I can't believe it. Okay, nice armrest camera and MIDI keyboard as well. Why does my Goodwill sell nothing but Jerry Maguire on VHS? Oh, that is classic. That is classic. Jerry Maguire on VHS. Analog Kid 825, killing it. That is classic. I really like that. I really like that. Yeah, so I saw some of these funny things and I thought, yeah, why don't we go ahead and check out some of these little funny things that are going on here. Okay, so one of the news stories, as we continue to look at the subreddits here, this is one of the major news stories that is going around today, and let's just go ahead and cover this right now, since we happen to be it happened to be on there. So one of the things that we've heard is that Ubisoft is building a 50-person team for an unannounced VR project. The company confirms its dedication to VR development on the same day that the flat version of Space Junkies got canceled and there's no future updates to Space Junkies. What you got, what it is what it is. They're done. They walked away. You know, Space Junkies turned out to unfortunately be a disaster for them. But it's kind of amazing that they got this 50-person team. Why? Okay, Ubisoft, why do you have a 50-person team for a VR project when Space Junkies was an unmitigated disaster? Why wouldn't you be like once bitten, twice shy? Why are you doing VR, Ubisoft? Oh, I know. Wheelbarrows of money. Oh yeah. Wheelbarrows of money. Jason Rubin drove a Brinks truck right to your company's headquarters and gave you a few wheelbarrows full of money. That's why you got a 50-person team for an unannounced VR project. The other thing that jumps out to me when I see something like this is like, oh, hip hip hooray. In the year 2023, we're going to have a new VR game for... Dude, if they just are starting a 50-person team right now, that means we're playing it in the year of our Lord, 2022. Okay? So yeah, let's get really excited for a VR game that is coming in the year 2022. Yeah! Assassin's Creed VR by 50 people in the year 2022. That is awesome. Yay, let's celebrate. Yeah, VR isn't dead. We've got a really big game that it's coming in the year 2022. Awesome, right? Awesome sauce. That's the first thing that pops into my mind. Okay, unless now... I will say this. Okay, so let's back up. And let's go back to the PSVR subreddit where they were talking about this. Let's click on the comments and see what they're saying here. Well, actually, you know what? I was looking at this in the Oculus subreddit. Okay, so let's go to the Oculus one. Yeah, so here it is. In the Oculus subreddit, this is the #1 upvoted thing on the Oculus subreddit. So a lot of people talking about it. So let's click on here and let's look at the comments in here. And this guy right here, Zacafrios, with 76 points, he says, this will likely be a launch title for next gen. will probably take up to 3 years to develop, which leaves us at around 2022, when Rift 2 is most likely to release. Rift 2? You guys really think that Oculus is going to continue to make PC headsets? People really think that? How quaint of them. How cute. Oh, that's adorable. That's so adorable. You really think that Oculus is going to continue to make PC VR headsets? Oh, that is so adorable. So adorable. That's Quest 2, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, Quest 2. Okay, Quest 2. It's going to be a launch title for Quest 2. PC VR? Oculus and PC VR? No, it does not compute. We'll be talking more about that as we start to get close to Oculus Connect 6. We'll be discussing all of that. But yeah, so this is far away. So it's very far away. So no need for hype at all on that kind of a story. I kind of wish I was one of those people, though, where I see a story like that, and I'm like, oh yeah, this is awesome, man. VR isn't dead. Oh, I feel so good. But no, I'm the super cynical type. I see that story and I'm like, oh, golf clap. Okay, 3 years from now, we're going to get a game. Yeah, 3 years from now. Great. Okay, let's check out some other stories here. What else is going on? Oh, I thought this was funny as well. I just thought this picture was funny right here. Blue Stoner. Blue Stoner. Why you've never heard of Guitar Hero VR. So let's click on this one. Palmer Lucky, baby. Guitar Hero VR was real. I like that. Yeah, there was a thing called Guitar Hero VR. It's kind of like, remember there used to be a documentary a number of years back. There was a documentary that was like, who killed the electric car? Okay, that documentary doesn't work very well anymore. It was kind of like a cool documentary for about a year, you know, when it seemed like electric cars had come out and then they completely disappeared and everybody thought there was like a conspiracy theory against electric cars. And so somebody made a documentary, who killed the electric car? Yeah, that documentary's not getting a lot of play right about now. But this is Guitar Hero VR was real. It did exist. It did exist at some point. Or is it a Mandela effect? I'm not sure. But yeah, so there's a lot of little shits and giggles things going on when I'm looking around here. Okay, so why don't we do this, though? Why don't we do this? Let's go back over here. And let's go to the chatters. The chisels, the chatters. And let's see what's going on. And see what some people are talking about. So let me go back and check out chat. Freebooter, having some problems here with my camera. Settle down, bro. Settle down. Let's see. It's saying okay. Yeah, having some weird issues here with OBS. Okay, Freebooter says, I come for... Or maybe it's this trailer. Let me put on a different trailer. Maybe this trailer is causing problems. Oh, dude, my whole computer's on tweak status. OBS is acting really weird for me. So apologies if things look really weird for you guys because my OBS is tweaking out. But hopefully it'll be hopefully it's just weird for me and not weird for you guys. Okay, so Freebooter says, I come for the Shizz. Cyan VR, I come for the rants. And let's see. If only the show was on the best platform, Twitch. Say it enough and it will become true. Okay, so anyways, let's scroll down here a little bit. Sponge720 says, I liked the show at 7 p.m. California time, to be honest. Okay, well, we might move back to that if these freaking people don't stop taking their kids to and from school and trying to be like legit parents. Like, once they get over that, I think everything will be good. Sponge720 says, when I was young, I had to walk my ass through the snow. New England snow at that. Gamertag VR, I messaged Adrian Lacey from Ubisoft and have him some advice going forward regarding Space Junkies. It's such a fantastic game. Space Junkies is not a bad game. It's not a bad game. We'll get back to Space Junkies here in just a minute. We'll go back. And Airman929565, no school here. Hurricane time. Yeah, you know, there is a freaking hurricane, by the way. And Technoglitch says the R word. Bill B says, I have red hair, so no. Well, no, I wasn't doing that. We were talking about the whole red, like, is it okay to say that redheaded stepchild. I don't think it's okay anymore. I accidentally will say it because there needs to be, anytime you say that you can't say something, you got to give us a replacement phrase that really works. You got to have a replacement phrase that is acceptable. Give us a good, like kind of a funny replacement phrase, and then we'll go with the replacement phrase. Oh, window licker. Okay, speaking of a replacement phrase, F. Frank says window licker is the acceptable replacement for retard. Or for the R word, excuse me. I just violated my own rule there. Okay, window licker. Yeah, window licker. I guess, yeah, I could see that. I could see window licker. Okay, PSVR, feels so dated, LOL. That's Mordecai. A very interesting way to spell Mordecai, by the way. And let's see, they programmed the beat markers to her movements just for the trailer. Oh, I see. Okay, so it's smoke and mirrors. So our Gambo is talking about the Beat Saber thing where, twirling the baton and everything just lines up perfectly. Like, dude, it is too hard for me to believe. Too hard for me to believe. Like, somebody would have to practice that shit for like 365 days in a row, like VR 365 in a row, to get that good to be able to actually do that. Our Gambo says they programmed the beat markers to her movements just for the trailer. Caleb Law says, well, look at the PlayStation VR at Goodwill. And VR Spry Guy says Goodwill is a for-profit store. Really? Wait, really? Is Goodwill for-profit? Because goddamn, if they're for-profit and they got some stock, maybe it's time, it's one of those things, if you can't beat them, join them. I'm telling you, they got those Goodwill donation centers everywhere. Jim Hall says Goodwill is evil. Don't donate to them. But see, Jim Hall said that about Patreon as well. So I think Jim Hall thinks a lot of stuff is evil. And maybe they both are evil. Maybe they really are. Maybe they should be right there with Electronic Arts and Comcast as some of the worst organizations on planet Earth. Monsanto. Okay, Monsanto number one. Monsanto number one. Comcast number two. Monsanto number one, Comcast number two, Electronic Arts number three, Goodwill number four, maybe. Patreon number five. Okay, Rudel Zavedno, consumerism at its best. Stop buying stuff. Problem solved. But dude, that's all we do here in America. We're depressed. We're not doing what we really love. Like, I'm doing what I love, man. That's why I'm on YouTube. I'm doing what I love. So I hardly buy anything at all. But most people aren't doing what they love. So you know what they do? They go to the mini mart. They go to Dollar Tree. You can find here's your metaphysical minute for today. You can find your happiness at Dollar Tree. They got the dark chocolate raisinets for $1. Dude, dark chocolate raisinets. Don't even tell me that those dark chocolate raisinets aren't the bomb, because they really are. Dark chocolate raisinets, I endorse that. I am down. If you guys want to send me a box of dark chocolate raisinets, I'm not going to hate on you. Unfortunately, I do not have a P.O. box yet for anybody to send me a bunch of garbage. I don't have a P.O. box yet. Okay, Cyan VR says, there is a box of Quest behind the shelf. Not exactly. Jim Hall, people think they are donating to a nonprofit to help people. Not the case. What, are you serious? Can somebody we need a fact check. Can somebody do a fact check? Is Goodwill a for-profit? Is Goodwill really for-profit? Because that's news to me. When did they change? Because I know they weren't always for-profit. And yeah, my OBS is acting a little weird here. Let's see, what else are we looking at? Looking at some chat here. Jim Hall says, I throw it in the garbage before I give it to Goodwill. You know what you can do? There's a lot of people, if you have Craigslist in your area, Craigslist has a free section. And so if you got a bunch of stuff that you really don't want to donate to Goodwill, don't throw it in the garbage. Just put it on the edge of your street and just take a picture of it and just say free. And somebody will come and swoop it up in a New York minute. Airman 929565, Goodwill comes and picks up your stuff, even less effort. Oh, they don't do it in my neighborhood, but yeah, that would be even less effort. Rudels of Edno, no wonder you're drowning in plastics. No, that's out in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. That's a Hawaiian problem. Okay. Main fan, I can totally believe PSVR at Goodwill. No, dude, it's too early, bro. It's too early for that. VR Spry Guy, if you want your donations to be used properly, the Salvation Army is one of the most efficient organizations to give to. Well, you know what? I told my wife this, right? I told my wife, I said, so what's the Pepsi to Goodwill's Coke? You know, you got, like, what's the Pepsi to McDonald's Coke? Burger King. What's the Pepsi to Taco Bell's Coke? Del Taco. So what's the Pepsi to Goodwill? I guess it would be Salvation Army. And so why isn't Salvation Army opening up all these little drop-off locations everywhere? Why aren't they making it as convenient? Then maybe we could have a Pepsi for our Coke. Ray Delatorre says that's good news. Monsanto is making a new HMD, Pseudo Soul. Yeah, they're going to kill you that way. VR Spry Guy says, I can't buy Raisinets because I can't stop eating them after I eat one. That's true. That's true. What you got to do is you open up the box, you take out about 20 of them, you get a very small handful, and then you just got to put that box away and you got to say, I am not going to touch the box again. You got to do it. What about Monsanto, though? Okay, so now this is where our show is going to get taken off the air because I'm going to start talking about Monsanto for a second. Dude, like I see these commercials on TV. Like, did you ever use a weed killer? Roundup, duh. Has anybody ever used a weed killer called Roundup? Okay, well, you might be a millionaire if you just call this lawyer and you get on this class action lawsuit. You could be a millionaire too. Have you ever used Roundup in the backyard? Well, guess what? There's a company called Monsanto. They made a product called Roundup that is literally killing everyone. And how is this company like still viable today? Like Monsanto is still a going, you know, they're out there, right? Like Monsanto still exists. Like how are they still alive? They're killing people every day. How is this possible? Okay, let's go back to VR. Sorry, folks. A little bit off topic there. Let's go back to VR. All right, so what we can do now, why don't we just go to Upload VR and see what the major news stories are of the day. We'll go ahead and see that. So let's go ahead and bounce over to Upload VR. So we're going to switch over here. Yeah, my OBS is acting very, very weird. But, okay, here's a VR Spry Guy Google search. Goodwill CEO and owner Mark Curran profits $2.3 million a year. Goodwill is a very catchy name for his business. You donate to his business and then he sells the items for profit. But wait a minute, that doesn't mean they're non-profit. That doesn't mean they're not a non-profit. You can have a non-profit and you could pay the CEO $1 million, and that's not the profit. That's paying for the employees, and then the profit would be after that. So I'm not sure that necessarily means that it's that it's not a nonprofit. So I think we need to double check with that. Monsanto got away with making Agent Orange. A little weed killer cancer ain't going to slow them down. Yeah, goddamn. Monsanto is a beast. They really are. And I don't know how they still survive. Okay, so anyway, we're over here on Upload VR. And yeah, one of the big stories is Space Junkies. So let's go ahead and cover that and see what this has to say. I think I clicked on it. It's just taking a little while here. Okay, so Space Junkies stopping development. Non-VR version won't release. Yeah, so they were going to make a non-VR version of Space Junkies where it was going to be flat gamers can play with VR gamers and we can all live together in harmony and we can shoot each other in harmony in Space Junkies as we're floating around. A pretty good game, by the way. And so they were going to make this flat version. That got canceled. So that's not going to happen. The other thing is they're basically stopping support for Space Junkies. So there's not going to be any more support for the game. So they're not going to continue to work on it. It's not going to get any additional updates, I don't believe. I don't think it's going to get any additional maps or anything. Let's just see what it says. An update last week marked the end of development of the Zero Gravity VR shooter. Since launch earlier this year, the game had received several updates, adding new maps, modes, and more. Writing in a blog post, developer Ubisoft Montepeller said it was proud to have achieved what it set out to do. The game's first season of content came to a close in July. The game's servers will remain open and accessible to players who purchase the VR version of Space Junkies so that spacers can continue to take on each other in the many community tournaments we've seen since launch. Well, thank the Lord for that. At least they're going to leave the servers up and running for another few months. Like, how long is it going to be before they kill the damn servers? Like, they got to give us at least one more year, right, before they kill the servers? And then, of course, in a related story, they're hiring a bunch of people for an unannounced VR project. In a related story, they're losing money hand over fist on Space Junkies, but it's not going to stop them from making Splinter Cell VR or Assassin's Creed VR, which is something that we did hear about. And coming up in not too many days, actually, we're talking like 21 days from now, 22 days, Oculus Connect 6. Wednesday and Thursday, I believe, like September 25th, September 26th, something like that, right around there. I do believe there will be some major announcements. Assassin Creed VR for Quest 2, Splinter Cell VR for Quest 2. Also, other announcements like Rift has been canceled. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. But yeah, I do believe we're going to get some official announcements at Oculus Connect 6 about these upcoming games. And so they are hiring people to work on this project based on great IP. So it probably is one of those two games. The biggest downside with this whole deal is we're talking years away. Like, this has got to be years and years and years away, right? Like, if you're just hiring people now. But we kind of covered that earlier today, so we don't need to rehash that. Going back here, are there any other major stories? So, yeah, I saw this. Facebook, we don't collect or store Quest camera on Guardian data. Not yet, they don't. I wonder if do they have the wording for it? The wording is probably at this current point in time. Let's see if we can find the wording. Where's the wording for it? Because I know the wording is going to be very carefully written. Because the wording is going to be like, at this point currently in time, we are not capturing this information and saving it. Oh, here it is. Oh, yeah, watch this. Check this out, guys. We don't collect and store images or 3D maps of your environment on our servers today. Today. There's the key word right there. Today. Images are not stored anywhere, and 3D maps are stored locally on the headset for Quest and on your local PC, where you have access to delete it for Rift S. Today. That said, we'll notify consumers if this information is required for VR experiences we provide in the future. So they're already getting, they're already greasing the wheels, they're greasing the tracks, or whatever they say. Yeah, I knew it was going to say, at this current point in time, in the reality that we're in right now, in this current setup of the metaverse, no, we're not saving the data yet. Not yet. Coming soon. Okay, so there was that. Anything else going on? Let's go ahead and check out Road to VR. Let's check out, that's not Road to VR. Let's check out Road to VR. Let me go ahead and give this a quick refresh. Filming The Lion King in VR was like a multiplayer filmmaking game. So they're still talking about that, huh? Let's see. Until You Fall, Index and Windows VR support coming in October. Oh, by the way, if you guys do miss out on the Twitch episodes, you're also going to miss out on an epic rant not epic, but a decent rant that I had yesterday, where I was talking about Shell Games and other developers that aren't supporting the Index right away. And honestly, I find it to be puzzling. I find it to be a head scratcher. Go ahead, bounce over to Twitch later, watch that entire episode, or just watch the segment where I'm kind of going off about it. Because basically the too long didn't watch version of that is like, dude, the index is like brand new. It's exciting. A lot of the hardest of the hardcore are buying indexes. It's a brand new toy. What do you want to do when you got a brand new toy? You want to justify the toy. If you got a brand new Millennium Falcon, you want to buy an extra Chewbacca character. You want to buy a couple of extra Stormtroopers. So when you're playing your little game, you know, you got Han and Luke and Leia, and I'm going to be Darth Vader. And you need a couple extra Stormtroopers, man. So if you just got a brand new toy, you want something to show the toy off. And so all the index owners that are out there, I personally believe, like I think if you did some statistics on this, I have to imagine that index owners buy more VR games than just about anybody else. But this is only for a very temporary period of time. It's because of the honeymoon period. But that's when Until You Fall happened to release. And yet it doesn't work on the index? I don't know. Kind of weird to me. You know, they left money on the table. I mean, I'm not going to say that they have to do it, but I feel like they left money on the table. So anyway, that rant is in yesterday's episode. Where to find all Quest and Rift cross-buy apps in one place. We were actually talking about the cross-buy situation yesterday as well, because a lot of people were talking about the deal that you can get for, we were talking about September game releases as well. Do you guys know all the VR games that are coming out this month? There's a lot of stuff that is popping off. Let's look at upcoming games here in the month of September. You got Hell Split Arena coming on September 9th. 5 days away, folks. 6 days away, Battle Wake on September 10th. Rise of the Titan, that is a name change, by the way. It was Titan Arena, got switched over to Rise of the Titan. But let's go to the next page. Additional stuff that is coming in September includes Groundhog Day, Like Father, Like Son. That is coming September 17th. We've also got E-Spire 1 that is coming in September. Here it is, E-Spire 1. And so for those that didn't know, we talked about this briefly yesterday. You can pre-purchase E-Spire 1 on Steam, and there's a special bonus. You get Killing Floor Incursion for free. But a number of people were debating and saying, wait a minute, I'd rather do the cross-buy thing. I'd rather have E-Spire 1 for my Quest and for the Rift S, because then I can take it on the go, or my kids play the Quest a lot and they want to play it. So we had some people talk about that. But one of the questions I did pose to people yesterday, and I can ask the same question to... I don't know. Something is going really, really weird with my OBS. It is like blinking and flashing. It is tweak status. Something's wrong with my Windows or something. But anyway, we had this as the question of the day over on Twitch yesterday as well. What is your game of September? Like, what are you going to buy this September? If you're a PC VR gamer, you're thinking about Battle Wake. You're thinking about E-Spire 1. You're thinking about Groundhog Day. Hell Split Arena. You know, Hell Split Arena. Doctor Who. Doctor Who is coming in September. And there's probably a couple of other ones I can't even remember right now. So September is pretty hyped. What is your go-to game? Now, a lot of people were saying E-Spire 1 is their go-to game. 30 bones, though. 30 bones. You know, so not super cheap, guys. Yeah, my OBS is it doing this weirdness for you guys? Is it doing the weirdness that I'm getting over here? I don't know what's going on with my PC. Maybe I needed to like reboot my PC before I did this, because it is on full-on tweak status. So we'll go back over here. Or no, wait, we're going to go back over here. Yeah, so E-Spire 1, $30. Monsanto has infiltrated your OBS. So is it all weird? You guys are getting all the weird jittery video that I'm getting? I don't know what the hell's going on today, but that is a problem. Okay, well, why don't we go ahead and check out the Rift Store. Let's go ahead and check out the Rift Store. Are there any deals today since we're checking out stores? And you know what? Chernobyl, the VR project, 70% off. You can get this for $3. There's 16 hours left in this. I believe this is kind of like a photogrammetry kind of a thing, right? Not really a game, but like really, really impressive photogrammetry, I think. I think there was like a free version of this where you could check out like one scene from one location, but then like if you really want to buy it, you got to buy the full version. Chernobyl VR Project is a virtual experience which allows you to visit the ghost town of Pripyat and learn about its history. It is a tribute to the victims of the disaster. Together, let's find out the future that was lost. So they got a new 3D location, the hospital, new option to navigate with touch controllers, available graphic setting changes, and more. So that is $3 if you want to get it on the Rift. You do got quite a few hours left in that. We also like to check out new releases, just see has anything popped. Nothing since yesterday, so nothing going on there. And then we look at coming soon and pre-orders. And yeah, oh, Touring Carts. That's another September game as well. You know, I feel like Max Headroom. You know, it's like Max Headroom. It's like, it's kind of Max Headroom going on over here. Very much Max Headroom. Yeah, reboot after the show. No weird. Oh, you guys aren't getting the weirdness? It's only me? Oh, that's weird. So you guys aren't getting any of this like weird, like hyper, like I feel like I'm in the Matrix. It's like, it's like hella trippy. I feel like it's a lie, man. Everything's a lie. Okay, so another thing we can check out is the Kickstarter for Lo-Fi. Where are they at now? Let's go ahead and give this a nice fast refresh real quick. And so, 41 GER. 41 GER. So haven't quite hit the goal of 45 GER, but pretty darn close. And for those of you that are wondering, what the hell is GER? What is Anthony talking about? Well, it's short for grand. Okay, 41 grand. And Lo-Fi, the developer, Iris VR, is shooting for 45 grand. Now, it's actually in Canadian, but it's been converted, and I think they're trying to get 60,000 Canadian, basically Jeffrey dollars. You know, Toys R Us, Canadian money is pretty much Jeffrey dollars. It's also good at Toys R Us stores and KB dollars. It's basically KB dollars, Monopoly money, and Jeffrey dollars. So they're trying to get 60,000 Jeffrey dollars. Lo-Fi talked about this quite a bit yesterday as well. So don't need to get into it now. Let's see, what else can we check out real quick? Well, we can go ahead and, where's the Rift? I don't have, okay, let's go to R-Vive. Let's see what's going on over here at R-Vive. Oh, one of the topics I did want to get into was like flat gamers. Like somebody did a post on the Xbox subreddit about when is Xbox going to have VR, and they got into this big diatribe about flat gamers still hate VR. Like they still hate VR. That was a thing too. If I could find that topic, we could get into that. But let's see what's going on over here on the Vive subreddit. Yeah, so HTC is dead. Let's go ahead and check this out. Oh, that's 9 days ago. Wait, have I refreshed this? Hold on, let me refresh this. Yeah, so just refresh this. Wow, that is still there. So I guess nobody goes to this subreddit anymore. So I guess we'll let it die. Let's go back to the Oculus subreddit, and what I'm going to look up is Xbox in the Oculus subreddit. I'm going to see if I can find that thread. Yeah, here it is. The sad state of non-VR users' attitude towards VR. Okay, this is always a fun topic. It's always one of the funnest topics out there. For example, if you have no news to talk about and you really ain't got nothing to do, talk about how everybody hates VR. Because what it does is it gets everybody riled up. And so everybody wants to, you know, on both sides, everybody on both sides of the pulpit get riled up. So let's go ahead and check this out. The sad state of non-VR users' attitude toward VR. Okay, so this guy says, I made a post today on the Xbox Reddit. The topic was around a possible VR solution for the next-gen Xbox and how console VR would be great for gamers. Pretty harmless, you'd think, right? My intent was to plant a seed and to gauge reaction. The reaction was depressingly worse than I had expected. Almost no one came up and said, yeah, VR on the next Xbox would be cool. Quite frankly, and perhaps naively, was my expectation at this stage. More than what people said, I was surprised at how not only the thread being downvoted into oblivion, but every comment I made also being downvoted, no matter how innocuous it was, like pointing out to the guy who said he is not interested in VR as it means having wires and boxes all over his living room. My answer, dude, this guy like runonsentences.com. Run on sentences like a mofo. Okay, I don't care one jot about the personal aspect, but I do care about VR. And in that light, I am both surprised at the negative response and worried about the adoption of VR in this context. I have always been puzzled about the hostility that regular gamers have towards a tech that they should at the very least be curious about. Where does this negativity come from, I wonder? Okay, so, and then the responses to this guy said, first thing you mentioned in the post on our Xbox One, Xbone, I have traditionally been an Xbox guy, but broke ranks and moved over to PS4 for one simple reason, VR. And so, yeah, not the thing that you want to say on the Xbox forums. Because you know what? Unfortunately, fanboyism is alive, and it is very, very well. Fanboyism is alive and well, and it is not stopping, folks. This guy says, you aren't kidding about fanboyism. There was a thread here last week where 2 users from the PS4 sub started arguments claiming that PSVR killed Oculus. Doesn't matter. You mentioned PSVR and our PS4, and the reaction is about the same as if it were an Xbox peripheral. So yeah, I mean, we still got some problems. I remember in the days of like NeoGAF, well, before everybody left NeoGAF and they went to Reset Era and all of that, but I remember the good old days of like 2016 when everybody hated on VR except for us VR lovers. And it was really bad out there, man. Like podcasts and stuff, like they would joke about VR and everybody was like, I wonder when it's going to die. How long is this going to last, man? Can't believe this VR crap. They're just wasting so much time and they're wasting our resources. Yeah, people were also in this thread. People were talking about even on like the No Man's Sky thing, like just because it gets an update, people are like, oh my God, really? This freaking VR crap? They're wasting time with VR. It's kind of amazing that this stuff is still out here. But yeah, I did see that. The sad state of non-VR users. Okay, so anyway, let me go ahead and bounce back over to chat. Let's see what some folks are talking about over here recently. Okay, so a lot of Monsanto talk for a little bit there. Stuart Gregerson says, all out of Jeffrey dollars. All I've got are these Shroot bucks. Okay, Jim Hall says $850K for Quest. That's a big jump. What do you mean? 850K what? Okay. A Solid Freeman says lo-fi cyberpunk means lo-fi cyborgs, I guess. Seems likely. Phil Urine says, finally got started modding Skyrim. Can't wait to try it out. Now, there's a rabbit hole you're going to go down. You should hit up Erwin X. He could give you a breakdown on the absolute, like he's running like 300 mods simultaneously. That is like a definite rabbit hole that you can fall down. Jim Hall says, what is the conversion rate of unicorns to leprechauns? Phil Urine says, the Vortex mod manager really makes modding easy. Ray Delatorre, they're VR racist, VR phobes. Kind of like Questicles, but a little bit different. Rendered Reality says, I left Xbox to go to PC because they didn't have VR. Yeah, Gamertag VR, kind of like that as well, was an old Xbox guy, right? It's funny because, I mean, we are all fanboys. Like, I was a Magic Leap fanboy for a couple of years. Remember that? I was a Magic Leap fanboy. Oh, Ray Delatorre says, Anthony, did you ever win a fantasy football championship? Dude, I was boss baller. I was like in the championship game pretty much every year. Like, I really was. Like, well, honestly, though, it kind of says that my league sucked, that I was in the championship game. Unfortunately, I only won the championship 1 year, and I lost the Super Bowl like 6 different times. But no, I've won several fantasy football championships. That 1 year when, God, I can't remember the name of the guy, Houston running back. I don't think he plays anymore, but he was like a vegan and stuff. That 1 year, he had the most incredible year ever. He was like my number one guy. Oh, and it was the year that Odell Beckham Jr. was a freaking rookie, and I picked up Odell Beckham Jr. off the waiver wire, and I was just killing people. And I won my league. It was pretty sweet. Okay, Gamertag VR says, hey people, sorry at work and missed loads. Okay, you can check back in later, of course. Let's see, Jim Hall says, these VR people think No Man's Sky is all for them. And why the hell is War Thunder not talked about ever? That's Phil Yarn. And we need wireless out the box for PC. Anthony bought his Ferrari from Fantasy Football Winnings. Yeah, that would be nice. That would be nice. I'd have to be in one of these, like, what are all those gambling things that they have that are based around fantasy football, and people can win like $100,000 and stuff like that. But dude, I tried to play those every once in a while, like FanDuel and stuff, those things. I've tried playing those, and you've got to be the most perfect person ever to win anything out of that. Like, you got to have the one guy that had a freaking career day with the backup tight end that had a career day with the one defense that had like 12 sacks for some crazy Dude, I used to be a fantasy football nut job. Don't get me started on fantasy football. All right, well, you know what? We got through another show, folks. Kind of amazing, since I really had almost nothing to talk about. So I'm going to go back over here to our standard scene. Now, our question of the day, if you guys missed it, what is the September VR game that you're most excited about? There's lots of options. There is lots of options. You've got eSpire 1. It is probably the clubhouse leader for the September game that you're most hyped on, but you got to factor in the $30 price point, I think. You've also got Groundhog Day VR. Tequila Works, they made Invisible Hours. Maybe don't want to sleep on that. You got Spitfire? What is the name of that game? Hold on, I got to figure out what it's called. I can't remember the name of the damn game. Hellspire Arena, something like Hellfire. Hellfire. Okay, hold on, we're going to look it up real quick, folks. Hellsplit. I knew it was something. Split something, some kind of arena. Okay, here it is. Hellsplit Arena. That's September 9th. That's another option as well. Battle Wake, September 10th. Here's Battle Wake, September 10th. So there's a lot of interesting options, a lot of interesting possibilities in the month of September. And our question of the day is, what is your upcoming September banger? What is the game that you're going to go after in the month of September? That is the question of the day. And then real quick, before we bounce out of here, I just wanted to give one last quick shout out to our sponsor of the day. Our sponsor of the day, Liam Sadiq, has been supporting VR365, the Patreon, the VR365 Patreon, for 7 months. 7 months. That's pretty freaking incredible, right? Yeah, so much thanks to Liam Sadiq. Really appreciate your support. Obviously, much thanks to everybody that has been supporting with PayPal donations and that sorts of things. Because guess what, guys? I'm going to Oculus Connect 6 this month, and I've got to buy Deli Wolfensparger a beer. But how am I going to do that without your support? I need hundreds and hundreds of dollars so I can buy Deli Wolfensparger a nice beer at Oculus Connect. I'm going to meet him at the Jack in the Box just down the street. They do sell beer, right? Okay, well, maybe I'll buy him a Diet Coke. All right, but that's pretty much going to do it for our show today. Let me go ahead and get the hell out of here because, dude, my OBS is trying to commit suicide. Like, straight up. My OBS is straight up trying to commit suicide like you would not believe. Oh, Also, one last thing I forgot to mention. Thank you to the people that went to Twitch and did their Twitch Prime sub after I talked about it on YouTube on the last YouTube episode, that was Monday. That was Labor Day weekend. Remember the Labor Day special that we had? I talked about how if you've got Amazon Prime, go over to Twitch and do your Twitch Prime sub. It's free. It's 100% free. If you do have Amazon Prime, you can give a streamer basically $2.50 a month. And then if you've already done it, make sure and go back and do it each month. You got to do it each month. It's kind of dumb like that. They force you to go back and do it. But three people watched the show and immediately went over there, and Phil Yarn was one of them. So special thanks to Phil Yarn. I truly appreciate it because it does take like 2 minutes, maybe 3 minutes of your time to actually go do that, maybe even a few more minutes. And I really appreciate it because that is awesome, for you to take the effort to do that. I really do appreciate it. But yeah, so I'm out of here, folks. I'll see everybody tomorrow. I'll be twitching it up tomorrow. Hopefully OBS will not be trying to commit suicide tomorrow because it's very distracting to see me look like Max Headroom all the time. It's really weird. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and bounce the hell out of here because it's dinner time for me. All right, I'll see you guys. Everybody have a good Wednesday. Yeah, have a good Wednesday, and I'll see you guys tomorrow on Thursday. Take it easy. Later.